I would
Yeah.
just love for you to share your background and what brought you to the Purpose Gathering and everything you're doing now.
Yeah, I would love to. And I'll try to speed up the story because it's quite a long story, but it started like the year before my daughter was born. I got into entrepreneurship solely because I didn't have a great experience with our wedding photographer, and I was like, I could do this better. So I went down this journey of getting into photography. I specialized in weddings for like over 10 years. I did brand photography and probably like 6 to 8 years. I can't remember when, but years into the journey of entrepreneurship, I felt this nudging from the Lord to create the Purpose Gathering. And this was back in 2019. And so it started out as a meetup community, and I had zero audience. I was not an online business owner. I was strictly local service based. And so I literally went to YouTube and I was like, how to host an event. And
Love it.
honestly, the video was like, well, you probably need an audience to sell it to. So that's how the community started. So God was like, okay, you're feeling lonely as a mom and a business owner. You have so many mom friends that don't have businesses and so many business owner friends that don't have families. I think you should start this. And I was like, no, no, like I heard that wrong. I have two small kids. There's absolutely no way I'm starting another business. No, no, and no. And I told God no, right? Like some of us often do. And it just became louder and louder and louder until I couldn't say no. And so I dove in 2019 with zero audience in January, and I put on a workshop in July. And so this event this year is not my first rodeo, but it feels like it because it's a much bigger scale
Yeah.
event. So I hosted that, and then 2019, you know what happens next.
Oh,
The world
yeah.
shut down for
Yeah.
a little bit. And so having an in-person anything was really difficult. And
Yeah.
so I tried to pivot online. I started my podcast in 2020. I launched my first online course. I had a membership. I tried out all the things in 2020. And over the course of the past, 5-ish years, I have just heard the Lord calling me more and more into this coaching and community space. And so I no longer do photography, which is well, like a huge change because that was all of my life.
Yeah.
And now I've just, jumped in head first to coaching. And then I can stop or I can more specifically talk about the pivot, but I'll pause. So if you want to
Yeah.
interject.
Yeah, no. Well, I love it. Oh my gosh. Well, this is so funny because, like I said, I've heard bits and pieces of your story, and just to hear how parallel ours are, like I had the exact same thing of God dropping in, like the community, the podcast, the event, all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that's funny. I don't do that. Yeah.
Right, that's not
Nope.
me.
I don't talk in front of people. Yeah, find somebody else. That's
Yep.
funny. And yeah, when it's from him, he keeps going and keeps nudging you. And it's almost like we have this opposite shift, right? Because was the first Purpose Gathering, was that faith-based, or that was more just
No.
women gathering, right? And it's
Yeah.
so funny because now you're moving into, being faith forward as opposed
Hmm.
to like faith fueled, right? And mine
Yeah.
was like the opposite of being solely faith and gathering and personal growth and development, but all centered, on biblical principles. And now he's pulling me into the business space too. And so
Yeah.
that's the uncomfortable part for me. And yours is almost like a flip flop. So yeah, I would
Hmm.
love to hear of just how that shift has happened and
Yeah.
yeah.